Hello and welcome to round 3 of the 2017 Formula Virtual World Championship here from Fuji, Japan. My name is Bradley Downton and we're joined today once again by Jamie Franklin.
Hey everyone.
I've decided to let him back into the commentary box despite what happened last time because Harry is still away on holiday. But let's take a look through the grid then. It's Nathaniel Powers on pole position with Enrique Ruiz alongside. Jochen van Snelheid heads Adrian Simon on the second row. Klaas van Snelheid heads row 3 ahead of Arden Hutchinson, with great qualifying for first. Elroy Wagner and Will Hoskins behind them, as Alar Kanga and Felix Bayer round out the top 10. Then it's the two Westwoods on row 6 ahead of Douglas Bacon and Alexei Nowasinki. Judson Sykes is on row 8 ahead of Aaron Einerson, with James Harding 17th and the second home fist of Kiara Thunden 18th. Stuart Harrison and John Matson round out the top 20 ahead of Johan Houghton, Carlson Davenport in Fun's beautifully new liveried car, the two Ocelots on row 12, and Olan Inman and Nikolai Milkovic bringing up the back row of the grid. So as we go down to the grid then, it's Nathaniel Powers on the left on pole position, Enrique Ruiz on the right in second. The lights go out now and we're racing in Japan. It's a solid start from Nathaniel Powers, who looks as though he may just about hold off Enrique Ruiz on the super softs. We've got one of the second Franklin of Jochen van Snelheid coming down the inside of Adrian Simon at turn 1, and Klaas van Snelheid holds station in 5th. Jochen van Snelheid is indeed up to 3rd past Adrian Simon as the first of Arden Hutchinson gets up on the curb and loses a couple of places early on.
Yeah, beautiful start from Powers, exactly what he needed on the soft tyres. Not such a good start from Hutchinson. He seems to be dropping a few places there.
Yeah, Arden Hutchinson already down to 9th and now having to fend off Felix Bayer as well. Bayer on the super soft tyres will be looking to make that move early on, as Klaas van Snelheid is right in a sandwich at the moment between Adrian Simon and Elroy Wagner, as the top two, Powers and Ruiz, already starting to pull away.
Yeah, Klaas with Ruiz both need to be really on the pace today, because in super soft tyres they need to just be on it, getting past everyone and using that first stint to just fly.
Yeah, they certainly do. Nathaniel Powers then with a solid opening lap to lead across the... no, I'm not going to quite count your chickens just that, he hasn't done it yet. There we go. No, that's the DRS line. There we go. Nathaniel Powers leads across the line.
And setting the fastest lap as he does it.
Well, I'd hope so. It was the first lap of the race. As Alar Kanga dives down the inside of Will Hoskins for 7th position at turn 1, and a beautiful move. He's made it stick. And up into 7th place then for the Estonian, as Will Hoskins will now have to fend off teammate Felix Bayer.
Yeah, you'd expect that from Kanga early on. He does have the better car, so you'd think he'd be making places up.
Yeah, great qualifying though from AMR as Ruiz gets closer to Nathaniel Powers, but not as close as the two AMRs are. Felix Bayer all over the back of his teammate and will be absolutely desperate to make that move on the softer rubber. In fact, he's closing here, but Bayer can't quite get that done at the moment.
You'd think with the softer tyres, as well as widely considered to be the better driver, he would be going past fairly soon.
Felix Bayer considered to be better than Will Hoskins, you reckon?
I would say that more people would be interested in Bayer than are in Hoskins at the moment. Putting it out there.
Wow, that's interesting. As they come down the start-finish straight then at the end of the second lap, Nathaniel Powers once again the quickest lap, but Adrian Simon and Klaas van Snelheid have pulled out on Jochen van Snelheid in the Franklin. Adrian Simon is down the inside at turn 1 and through into 3rd. Klaas can't quite get the move up the inside of his brother.
No, Klaas seems to be in a class of his own compared to his brother at the moment.
The joke's been used already. We're only 3 laps in. Now what are we going to do for the rest of the race?
Well, we can talk about how beautiful that car is right there.
Yes, absolutely. The one that we were briefly on board with, but have just left, as Klaas van Snelheid is still attacking his brother, while Adrian Simon is scampering off into the distance. But yeah, on board we were briefly with that the newly liveried Fun car, and that is absolutely gorgeous. They've ooh, this class gets a bit of a slide on. They've moved away from the sort of magenta and as there we go then, Klaas van Snelheid up the inside of his brother Joachim at the final corner and into 4th place, and that looked like a bit of a late move.
Yeah, but perfectly done, no contact. That's what you want to see.
No, but Joachim will now. He's in the slipstream down the straight. Klaas is too far behind Simon to pick up anything from him. Will Joachim dive back down the inside of his younger brother at turn 1? He won't know, and Klaas will now hope to scamper off into the distance on the super soft tyres, as I think that was Felix Bayer going up the inside of Will Hoskins.
Yeah, and one of the Westwoods up the inside of
someone else.
One of the first. I'm going to guess at Hutchinson, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that was the Westwood of Finn Schneider. Yeah, past probably Hutchinson. I can't imagine Bacon's running in a position that high up the field.
Yeah, I think both the Westwoods qualified ahead of Bacon anyway, so I wouldn't have expected them to fall behind him.
No, they certainly did. As Joachim van Snelheid is now having to defend from Elroy Wagner, the two obviously switched places at the end of last season, and Alar Kanga. Joachim once again a strong qualifying, but he's got to the race and he seems to be lacking pace.
Yeah, shades of Malaysia again. It's quite worrying.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Anyway, not anyone else.
No, well, I can't say I'm disappointed. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that then.
We'll see if he lasts.
As Wagner dives down the inside of Joachim, then he can't quite get the move done at turn 1. Just settled back in behind, but I don't think it will be long. Wagner and Alar Kanga behind, and now Felix Bayer on the back of the train as well. All looking a lot more racy than Joachim at the moment.
Yeah, I mean the midfield is very close this season, so yeah.
As Finn Schneider dives down the inside of Will Hoskins. The two are wheel to wheel. Hoskins currently has the inside line, but is Schneider just going to sweep around the outside? They're still wheel to wheel. This is great racing from the pair of them, the veteran and the rookie. And it is going to be Finn Schneider who's held on around the outside. Surely no, Hoskins is still there, and Hoskins absolutely defends the position. Brilliant bit of driving from the pair of them, but now Schneider's got him. Just as it looked like Hoskins had successfully got rid of him.
Yeah, the better traction on the better tyres was inevitable that he was going to get past at some point, but brilliant racing from the field.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful there from the two of them then. Nathaniel Powers leads at the end of lap 5. Enrique Ruiz on quicker tyres is now, we can't quite take an awful lot from timing screens because I don't think they're quite accurate still at the moment. But that showed 3 seconds back as Alar Kanga dives down the inside of Elroy Wagner and Joachim van Snelheid. Is he going to take 2 in one corner? He is! Beautiful move from the Estonian.
Yeah, great showing from the rookie there, showing on how it's done.
Yeah, and let's not Wagner, who's actually competed in every race in Formula Virtual, and he was just totally shown up there by a guy who's only competed in 2 V-Prix.
Yeah, this is why perhaps he was dropped. Although having said that, he is currently hounding my driver, and it's not what I want to see.
As Finn Schneider now attacking the Swiss man. Pressuring Felix Bayer, obviously both on the super softs, and that's allowing Will Hoskins to come back at the Westwood slightly. Hoskins, who was obviously in that car last season, albeit briefly, but he was there, I can assure you. As Klaas van Snelheid closes up onto the back of Adrian Simon in the battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, the super softs clearly working better for Klaas than they are for Ruiz at the moment.
Oh, he's got the slipstream down the straight and he's pulled out. He's gone for the outside line as they head into turn 1. Surely that's not going to work. Simon brakes early though, and I think Klaas may well have just overtaken him around the outside of turn 1 as Wagner dives down the inside of Joachim. But no, he has pulled it off. So Wagner through then, finally up into what I believe 7th place, and Simon did just about hold on to that position then.
Yeah, definitely showing his quality of defensive driving compared to Joachim.
as Finn Schneider once again then attacks Felix Bayer. But yeah, just going back to that front then, which we were talking about. For the first couple of races, obviously this season they've run last season's magenta and dark green livery, which I quite liked personally. But they have now switched to a white livery with a few blue streaks on it, and I have to say it is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's given him a new identity. Off the back of last year, I think it just something like that can just revamp a team, and I think it looks great.
Yeah, and I think it's certainly a team in need of revamp after a rather miserable start to the season with their new Volvo engine, which as Klaas van Snelheid here is down the inside of Adrian Simon at turn 1 on the softer tyres. Surely he's got the traction out of turn 1 to take third place, and he has. Klaas van Snelheid up into the podium positions then, as the world champion slips back to 4.
Yeah, and now we've got the AMR of Felix Bayer chasing down Jochen van Snelheid, which, I'll be honest, considering that even though Ruiz is on the better tyres, I wouldn't have thought that we'd be racing AMRs today.
No, and if you actually look at it, Jochen van Snelheid has quite a train behind him, because it doesn't end with Felix Bayer.
Yeah, not wholly impressed.
All of those cars are in very, very close quarters. We'll have to see how well or how good his defensive skills are here. It's he's certainly going to have to improve them quickly. Well, he's certainly going to get the chance at this rate.
Well, based on the fact that he's lost 5 positions in 8 laps, not too convinced of his defensive driving, in all honesty.
No, but at least he's got the chance to improve it.
He's gonna have a long old race.
Wow, that is quite a train, isn't it? as we jump on board with Finn Schneider, but actually no, we jump slightly up the queue and on with Felix Bayer, who is on the super soft tyres, down the inside of Jochen van Snelheid, and he's through even before the corner. Is Jochen going to be able to use the purchase around the outside? He's not, and Felix Bayer is up into 7th, and Jochen van Snelheid now has to defend from a pair of Westwoods.
Yeah, well, the saving grace is I didn't realise that Felix Bayer was on super softs, so at least I can sort of blame it on the tyres. Hopefully.
Yeah, and there's a second one on quicker tyres, because that is Finn Schneider, and he's going once again wheel to wheel with Jochen van Snelheid. He's good at this, isn't he? The young Swiss racing wheel to wheel. That's twice in a handful of laps.
He's definitely shown he's got some quality overtakes in his bag.
As up front then, Enrique Ruiz still keeping Nathaniel Powers honest on the two on different tyre compounds, but Powers, despite the fact further behind we're seeing the drivers on super softs flying through the field, Powers is just able to hold Ruiz off at the moment. Although having said that, we jump on board with Ruiz and he has a lot of straight line speed, closing down into turn 1, and he has made a lunge for the inside. I think Powers will probably be able to hold on, and he has, but maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe Ruiz is only just getting warmed up.
I was just about to say, I'm sure Powers had a bigger gap to him beforehand, so I think he was just holding back a little bit, making sure the tyres could last, and before attacking.
Yeah, obviously, as ever, we're not sure how far the tyres will go in this race, so it could be that he's just trying to eke them out a bit and maybe reduce the number of stops that he will have to make on those super softs.
Absolutely, especially with a large train of cars behind him, he doesn't want to come out in that traffic.
Well, you say that, but I'm sure the train's quite far back now, if they're behind you.
Yeah, fair play.
Sorry, that was a bit brutal, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is actually the plan. He's holding everyone up so that I get a free pit stop.
Is it? Is that it? So that Ruiz can still come out in only 7th place?
It's team orders, yeah. Doing his job perfectly.
Unfortunately, it doesn't really help you scoring maximum points as a team.
Well, he's holding pace until the final stint where he'll...
He's just going to unleash it, is he?
Yeah, you'll see.
Fly by past them all. Is on board with Ruiz once again. Down the start finish straight on lap 11. He's down the inside of Nathaniel Powers, and he's much further alongside this time. He's got the inside line, and through into the lead of the Japanese V-Prix goes Enrique Ruiz.
And now let's see what kind of pace lies in that Franklin.
Yeah, he's taking his time though, as Finn Schneider is down the inside of Jochen van Schnellheid at turn 1. So as one Franklin gains a position, the other loses one, and that is a North Star with a hell of a lot of damage, and it's Judson Sykes with missing a wheel and a front wing, and that's a Lopez, I'd imagine, with some damage as well as they're heading into bits. He's missing a front wing, and that is James Harding.
Yeah, clearly some contact happening there for those yeah. I'd like to see the replay of that because that looked pretty
Yeah,
hefty.
absolutely, and where is it? It's only my co-commentators, never me. So Harding spins then and tries to. Oh, well, that was stupid.
That's some horrifically dangerous driving.
That's some very, very poor driving from James Harding, and I have to say I would fully expect a penalty for that one.
Absolutely, I just hope the suspension that flew up didn't smack him in the head too hard.
Although if it did hit Harding in the head, it might have done some good and knocked some common sense into him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very stupid from the Australian, and he's just unfortunately taken Judson Sykes out of this race.
Yeah, as we have Will Huss. No, it's not.
Timo Kinnaman.
Going back to a previous season.
Yeah, that was Timo Kinnaman diving down the inside of the fence, now hide at turn 1, as the Dutchman loses another position. But then, once again, Kinnaman is on the super soft tyres, as is the next car behind him, which is the only North Star now left in the race of Alexei Novosinki. Meanwhile, the two firsts are running pretty much nose to tail. I mean, the one behind is currently under attack from Aaron Einerson, but the two first running nose to tail, which is not bad for from Douglas Bacon's point of view, considering he started a considerable number of positions behind his teammate.
Yeah, I think that just shows where the car is at the moment. To be honest, they're both running pretty much at maximum potential. Although, having said that, considering that the cars in front of him on super softs, that's not too bad. I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, certainly. I think from what I can recall, both funds. I'm still on that beautiful livery. Both first are on the soft tyres. But let's actually just have a look at that for you. As on board with Alexei Novosinki, do you want to call this one?
No.
As Novosinki then dives to the inside of Jochen van Schnellheid at turn 1, and the Dutchman loses yet another position. It's these opening 12 laps have really not been kind, have they, to Jochen van Schnellheid?
Are there any available drivers that are better? Just putting it out there, if anyone has any better driver for me, this is pathetic. One driver leading, one driver struggling to stay in the points. That's.
In fact, I don't think he is anymore, is he, in the points?
That's why he's struggling. I mean, come on.
Go on.
That's just no, I'm fed up. He's gone.
Wow, brutal. He's out of drive already after just 2 races and 13 laps.
Yeah, not impressive.
He's the only one. He's the only one of your pair of drivers to have scored a pole position this season.
Yeah, but what else has he done?
He was second in the last race. He's currently ahead of Ruiz in the championship.
Yeah, but Ruiz got taken out last race. Doesn't really count.
Well, he had an engine failure.
Exactly. Anyway.
Yes, as that was Finn Schneider, I believe, around the outside of Felix Baer at turn 1. Once again, some quality driving from the young Swiss.
Yeah, the Westwood and the AMRs seem to be sticking together pretty solidly. It's going to be an interesting battle as the season develops.
Yeah, certainly will be, and I think to be honest, Lopez are probably in that fight as well. I mean, Wagner's showing a bit better at the moment, but I do think they're sort of, those 3 teams are towards the top of the midfield as we look at things at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
As on board with Klaas van Schnellheid, then the young Dutchman, he was now right on the back of his more experienced world champion teammate Nathaniel Powers, and if I was in charge of that team, I'd be calling team orders right about now.
Just if I was a fan.
But of course there are no team orders, but Klaas van Snelheid dives to the inside of turn 1 on his teammate Nathaniel Powers, and he's going to get the traction out the corner, and well, team orders weren't needed. Klaas van Snelheid is up quite easily into second place.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be too long before he'll be on the back of Enrico Ruiz with a nice little scrap for the lead.
Yeah, that's we'll keep our eyes on that, but that's as Elroy Wagner running already in a rather lonely 6th place, I think. Although Finn Schneider, I'd imagine, will start closing on him now pretty rapidly. But just going to the tyre situation then, the majority of the field are on a mix of softs and super softs, as we've seen. Although we do have a few anomalies. Both of the Ocelots of Giordano and Beckenbauer are running on the hard tyres, much to the surprise of a lot of people in the paddock this morning when that news was revealed. Stuart Harrison is on the mediums for Meteor, while Ruiz, Klaas van Snelheid, Beyer, Finn Schneider, Alexei Helsinki, Aaron Einerson, James Harding and John Matson are on the super softs, and the rest of the field are running on the soft tyres.
Yeah, as I was saying pre-race, I think it's going to be a split between the softs and the super softs. I think both have the opportunity to do well this race. I don't think there's going to be too much in it.
No, I think that's it's going to be an interesting one to see as the race develops, as Timo Kinnaman looks to the inside of Felix Beyer at turn 1, but doesn't quite decide to stick his nose down the inside. I think he probably would have had it chopped off if he had done there.
Yeah, taking the safe route by not sticking his nose where it shouldn't be.
Absolutely. As we that's Johan Halverson, followed by Carson Davenport, the two of them just toddling along towards the back of the legs. That's got to be disappointing for both. And Matson there as well. You know, three drivers who have experienced success as Timo Kinnaman does indeed finally get past Felix Beyer and up into 8th place, I believe that is. But that's just got to be disappointing for all of them there towards the back. You've got Halverson, Davenport, Matson, Harrison, Inman, Milkovic, Giordano and Beckenbauer at Ocelot. They're all former race winners.
Yeah, it's not what we want to be seeing. We want to see the best drivers on the grid in the best cars, which is why, if anyone fancies a trade,
I get the feeling there's going to be a theme this race.
Is it? Yeah. Just shamelessly plugging, trying to get a better driver in my team.
He might surprise you. So, just out of interest, then out of those that are struggling at the moment in the cars towards the back of the field is Klaas van Snelheid on the same tyres as Enrique Ruiz, is now right on the back of the Brazilian.
I don't think it's really too much of a surprise. Your car is pretty fantastic.
Well, I'm going to act surprised, if you don't mind. I think that's some brilliant driving there from Klaas in a much slower machine.
Absolutely, his driving is pretty classy. As it looks like they're coming into the pits.
Yeah, in fact, both of and you've just pulled that joke again.
Yeah, I have.
I didn't even notice that.
So that's looking like a 3-stopper for the super soft runners.
Oh, and that was very close to contact in the pit lane. Yeah, so that's what, lap 17 then. And are Downton going to get Klaas out ahead? Not quite, no. In fact, I think Ruiz has actually gained a little bit of time there. So yeah, both of them then pitting at the end of lap 17. It's going to be interesting to see where they feed back out. There's quite a train coming, led by Jochen van Snelheid, and they're going to be right at the back of that. That's not quite worked out very well, has it?
He can't even do his own job properly. Come on now.
As we've got more of the super soft runners into the pits. We've got the Westwood of Timo Kinnaman, Aaron Einerson, Noah Sinke and Felix Beyer as well. So all of the super soft runners pretty much, with the exception of Finn Schneider, who's been pulling overtakes left, right and centre and probably putting more strain through the tyres than anyone, and he's managed to go a lap longer.
Yeah,
Solid effort.
Yeah, as he clearly cuts across the white line into the path of oncoming traffic.
I think they all have here, to be honest. I don't think there's much point penalising drivers for doing that, because you just penalise the whole field and they'd end up back in the same order.
Yeah, but I think with a 3-stopper, I think we're going to be looking at a 2-stopper for the softs. So I'm going to guess at about lap 25 that the softs are coming back in.
Yeah, so if they're pitting at the end of lap 17, obviously that puts Powers back into the lead. 17 would be what, 34.51. It's going to be tight. They're going to have to make sure they're making those tyres last 17 laps and don't
cut one short.
Yeah, because they'll be running really close otherwise. But that does look to put the super soft runners into a good stead, doesn't it? If they can indeed make that 17, they're going to be able to get 17 laps pretty much with every stint of full running, and they're not just going to have a random 3-4 laps at the end. Every stint will be maximised.
But having said that, this is what's going to hurt them the most. Right.
Yeah, being stuck in traffic.
We see a beautiful move around the outside.
Yeah, Enrique Ruiz, he's
being fought for it.
Yeah, Douglas Bacon is not going to take this one lying down, and that's allowed Klaas van Snelheid right onto the back of the pair of them. And will he be able to take advantage here, as Ruiz has been put onto the outside line? But I think the superior traction of those super softs is just going to ease him past. But Douglas Bacon is still there, still alongside the Brazilian. He's not going to give this up, but eventually he has to. Then Ruiz is through and past Bacon into 9th, and now it's for Klaas van Snelheid to try and battle his way past.
Yeah, pretty impressive driving considering he's on old soft tyres.
Yeah, there you go. Then there's a potential replacement.
Yeah, no. So I think we'll leave them. Nothing more to be said.
I think so. Just going back to the tyres and the strategies, then, if as I've just noticed, Finn Schneider has come out rather a long way ahead of his teammate. Schneider's out in 14th, Kinnaman only 18th. They've got Bayer between them, who's obviously pitted as well, and then Harrison and Inman, who haven't pitted yet. But, yeah, a little bit surprised at that.
Yeah. Obviously, we didn't see too much about what happened. I think you said Schneider went a lap longer, so maybe he was able to just push a little bit harder on the in-lap. Yeah, I'm quite impressed because Timo Kinnaman is a fairly decent driver from what we've seen in the past. But
was Ruiz down the inside of Chiara Thunder then, and another move now up to 8th position. But yeah, I totally agree. Kinnaman has proved himself more than capable in the past.
But yeah, Schneider has definitely shown them up a little bit, which is kind of what I wanted to see with my driver, and maybe you wanted to see with yours.
Yeah.
Maybe not shown up, but at least be on pace, which I think you have seen.
Klaas has performed admirably thus far this season. He's only done 2 races, and he is against a former world champion who is recognised as one of the best drivers in the series. As Jochen van Snelheid looks at making an overtake. That's not something we've seen so far this race, but he has actually pulled it off, and he's back past Will Hoskins.
Maybe he's just seen Ruiz in his mirrors and gone, what? He's made a pit stop, he's just behind me, what the... Ruiz and Klaas are doing exactly what they need to do, and are just dismantling the field. Just going straight past.
Absolutely are. They are scything their way through this traffic and not letting it back them up at all, although Klaas is now 2 cars, 1 car behind.
Yeah. It seems
and that's going to give Chiara Thunder a run on Arden Hutchinson, and she capitalised absolutely. Oh, never mind. No, she has got it. She has got it. Yay!
That's the kind of driving we want to see. That's brilliant.
That was well judged and well seen there by Chiara to make that move, as Enrique Ruiz is now right onto the back of his teammate Jochen van Snelheid. So in just 21 laps, Van Snelheid has managed to lose an entire pit stop to his teammate.
Yeah, and he better not make this too difficult. His drive depends on it.
as Ruiz dives down the inside. And I don't think Joachim really thought that one, but I think he will this, as he now has his younger brother behind him once again, who only overtook him a handful of laps ago. That's quite painful, really, isn't it?
It is.
And he's just going to sweep around the
God.
outside of him.
He's clearly become the laughing stock of this series. I bet Aaron Einarsson is loving this.
Yeah, Einarsson who? Yeah, I think Joachim, his performances last year weren't bad. I'd say he performed admirably. Again, I'm struggling to say that one, but then he was alongside James Harding, which speaks for itself.
Yeah. Who again is being destroyed a little bit by Elroy Wagner.
Yeah, he has been, as Aaron Einarsson makes an overtake there on Nikolai Milkovic. Obviously, he has pitted and he is on fresh supersofts, however. But yeah, I don't think Joachim's as bad as this race is making him look. But you can't get into a car that's going to be as good as a Franklin usually is, and be this. I don't want to say poor, but I can't think of another word that would fit.
I don't think there is another word. Yeah. But yeah, Ruiz and class up to 5th and 6th as they chase down Elroy Wagner. Let's see if they can catch him before he pits.
Yeah, and once again the pair of them nose to tail, and I think, to be honest, Wagner's probably too far up the road, and they'll likely be in within the next couple of laps.
Yeah, most likely. But it'll be interesting to see if they can do it. They have been pretty speedy.
Yeah, the interesting battle now will be between the pair of them for what will become the de facto lead of this race. Absolutely. Or what is the de facto lead of this race, even. As Nathaniel Powers and both the DS Marshall cars into the pits then. So they didn't even make it to the end of lap 24. They've gone, well, in fact, the entire top 4 in the pits. So Ruiz is going to cross the line to take back the lead of the Japanese V-Prix, with Klaas van Snelheid in very, very close company in second, and that was 23 laps then for the previous top 4, as Simon has lost out. Powers has rejoined in third, but Simon is behind both Will Hoskins and Arden Hutchinson, so a little bit of work to do there then.
Yeah, Arden Hutchinson back up to 5th is pretty... Oh, he hasn't pitted yet.
Yeah, I was going to say. Although,
where did he come from?
What is impressive is Finn Schneider. Obviously, I know he's on the Supersofts, but after the first pair of pit stops, he is ahead of Elroy Wagner. And that was quite a gap.
Yeah, he's again just impressing once more.
Careful, Harry. I think Jamie might have an eye on your driver.
I'm gonna steal something. It doesn't matter.
As Inman makes his first pit stop of the race then and rejoins last, sadly. But we go back to the lead battle then. We've got Klaas van Snelheid all over the back of Enrique Ruiz, and that looks like he's got a brilliant tow as they cross the start-finish line just hundredths apart. Van Snelheid has the inside line to turn 1, and he's going to make the move. He's down the inside. Is he going to pull it off though? He gets the traction out of turn 1, and Klaas van Snelheid is into the lead of the Japanese V-Prix, past Enrique Ruiz then, who will now try and fight back, but frankly, from what we've seen up to this point, I don't think he'll be able to.
No, I think he's been setting that up for a few laps, so it's pretty inevitable that was going to happen. But it's going to be interesting to see if Ruiz can at least hold on to the battles.
It certainly will then, as Timo Kinnaman goes up past Felix Bayer into 8th place, as you'll notice Arden Hutchinson has now disappeared from 5th position because he's made a pit stop. And in fact, he's behind Bacon.
When did Alarkanga get past Seaman?
I don't know, actually. That's a very good point. They came out of the pits with Adrian Simon ahead. So that's probably an overtake somewhere on track that we've missed, in which case that is a sterling effort from Alarkanga.
Absolutely. Powers does seem to be keeping on the back of this duo here.
He certainly seems to be having a pretty impressive run so far. Keeping pace with the drivers on the super soft tyres, despite only being on softs.
Yeah, that's not what I want to be seeing right now, I don't think.
Well, I think frankly that's probably concerning for the rest of the field.
Yeah.
If he's quicker than Franklin, who are, you know, one of the nearest competitors to Downton on a slower compounded tyre, and we saw it in last race in Malaysia as well. Although he was on he was on the softs in Malaysia, wasn't he? Whereas Fast was on mediums. But he was just, he pulled a pit stop over the race on Adrian Simon and was still ahead.
This is troubling.
Oh, we'll wait and see how this one pans out.
Wait, is that smoke coming from the Downton?
No. No, it's not. Don't. I've invited you back after last time. I'm grateful for it. If it happens again, that's it.
Those brakes seem a bit spongy.
Well, that's alright. It's Ruiz ahead of him as long as he aims properly. We've still got one car up front. Where's your second car?
I don't have a second car. Just happens to be branded similar.
I just know Stuart Harrison, who's obviously on the medium tyres, is currently running in a respectable 13th. Although I think he's just about to lose a position. Yeah, now he's 14th.
Yeah.
I don't think he's swiftly going to go to 15th.
Yeah, he hasn't pitted yet either, so I don't think those mediums are really paying off.
No, but then, having said that, if he's only going to make one stop, which you'd hope, seeing as the super softs look like doing 3 and the softs 2, you'd hope he wouldn't make any more than one. In which case, it's making the Ocelot's decision to run hard tyres look even worse.
Yeah.
He could be on for maybe a better result than that Meteor looks capable of up to now.
Possibly, but then it's difficult to know, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to point out your second driver's behind Aaron.
I'm sorry.
There you go, there's a replacement.
I could drive that car quicker than he could.
Yeah, it's not. In fact, he's quite a way behind because that is Ines. That's painful.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll ignore Jochen for a bit and leave him to it, and hope that maybe out of the spotlight he can pick his pace up a little. As James Harding is into the pits for his second stop, then obviously he's rather out of sync here after that incident early on. So although he's on super softs, his fellow super soft runners won't or shouldn't be in for another 6-7 laps or so.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's, I don't know what I was going to say there. Just continue.
As we're watching then the 2DS Master cars running around in what looked to be a sort of a fairly lonely 4th and 5th at the moment, but well, they're not that far behind the leaders actually. But the pair of them have just been together the whole race, so we have a yellow flag ever so briefly, and off and on in Sector 1. No idea. Not obviously Kanga just running ahead of his teammate at the moment. That overtake that we presume happened on track but haven't seen.
Yeah, another driver who's been fairly impressive in the first couple of races.
In fact, I'd have to hand it to all of the rookies. All 3 of them, Klaas van Snelheid, Alarkanga and Finn Schneider, have done exceptionally well in these first 3 races. Well, 2.5. Not the end of this one yet. It might be about to go horribly wrong for the lot of them.
One can hope.
Wow, rude. As Douglas Bacon is now. Oh, that was Hutchinson going past Harrison, wasn't it? So yeah, maybe those medium tyres aren't quite working if he's now coming under pressure from his fellow American.
No, you'd hope getting towards his first stop that it'd at least be in the points to give him some sort of hope
Well, yeah,
of a decent result.
How far does he have to go to get those medium tyres for one stop? It's going to have to be lap 34, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't. But then again, as you said, the Meteor's not exactly a point-scoring car at the moment, so
no,
maybe a bit harsh.
Well, and Harrison's not exactly what I class as a quality driver either. But
probably better than Stjokken.
I don't know. Stuart Harrison was the first driver to complete a season without scoring a point. I mean, there have been many since, like last year, when obviously the 3 new teams come in, but he couldn't quite keep up the development race with the rest of the existing teams. But yeah, I think people are already well aware. I'm not Stuart Harrison's biggest fan of him. He's deserving of that seat, but yeah, hey.
Who would you put in instead?
Literally anyone. No, that's a bit harsh on Harrison. You know, he did manage to pick up a victory last year. Although I'm sure quite a few drivers that probably would have finished ahead of him retired along the way. But you don't win a race without having a little bit of talent or just a really good car and no rivals.
What about Matthias Havonen?
Okay, maybe not quite anyone.
that
former Franklin reserve driver.
Yeah. Who was once tipped for a seat.
He was, yes. I'm sure you'd been on some rather strong alcohol at that point.
No, the car was just that good. It didn't matter who was in the seat. Can't really say that anymore.
No, you can't. As your second driver, it comes under pressure from an AMR once again, and is actually behind both a Holmqvist and a North Star.
Yeah.
Although that's a bit cruel. Both those teams are considerably better this year than they were last season. In fact, I do believe Aaron Einarson is running in the points.
Good job. I think they scored points last season. Not last season, last race, didn't they?
Yeah, Kiara Thunder with an incredible 5th place for Holmqvist, and that now means with first scoring as well. I believe Hutchinson was 7th. All 3 of the new teams from last season are already point scorers, just 2 races in.
Yeah, which is great for the sport that new teams can come in and be somewhat successsul.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I've also, I don't know if we've mentioned this season or not, but this is we might have touched on it in Australia actually. This is the first season when no teams have changed from the previous year.
I haven't changed any year.
No, but I mean, no teams have left and come in as we go on board. Nathaniel Powers trying to lap some traffic. Describing Nikolai Milkovic's traffic is pretty painful.
Yeah, maybe one of them can come and join.
Oh, now that's a very good point, isn't it? Let's not forget, Franklin do have a technical partnership with Ingram and now Ocelot.
It's true.
There is, if any of those teams would be willing to cooperate, I hope for our sake they wouldn't.
You're gonna pay them off to not do anything.
No, don't be silly. I have better things to spend our money on. Like making our car even better.
Is that possible?
It's always possible.
Yeah, we'll see. We're back to the race.
Yeah,
nearly halfway distance now.
We are. It's a little bit static at the moment, isn't it? Although I should imagine at the end of the next lap, we'll be getting another round of pit stops from the super soft runners. As on board with Will Hoskins chasing down Jochen van Schnellheid. Typical, as soon as you want to go back to the racing, it's one of your drivers looking at being overtaken. And Hoskins is indeed down inside of Jochen van Schnellheid and through into what I believe is 12th place.
If you listen closely, you can hear the sound of him leaving the team.
It's quite impressive mid-race.
Let's hope he doesn't have the commentary on the radio.
Yes, well, I'd hope. Actually, maybe that's why he's not quite doing as good. Maybe he doesn't have his race engineer in his ear.
maybe he's just become disheartened and doesn't want to drive anymore.
So, let's take a look through the order then. We've got Klaas van Schnellheid leading at present as he's now making his way through the back markers. Enrique Ruiz, not too far behind. As the timing screens are playing up, I'd judge that at around about 4 seconds. Nathaniel Powers still just about hanging on to the coattails of Ruiz as they make their way through these back markers. And the two DS Mattershore cars still in close quarters as well.
Yeah, it's looking good for the soft runners because, depending on where the traffic is, we can't really tell at the moment with timings. It's going to be quite close in terms of where they come out.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Klaas and Ruiz are not pulling away as much in this stint as they did on their first set of tyres.
No, I think this next stint is going to be make or break for them because depending on where they come out, they need to at least catch up to them, or at least try to catch up to them. With as we have Klaas coming into the pits now.
Yeah, so as we expected then at the end of lap 34, and that was Nathaniel Powers as Ruiz came into the pits right on the tail of Enrique Ruiz. So the Brazilian obviously held up there slightly in the traffic, but both Klaas and Ruiz into the pits now, and it will be interesting to see where they feed back out, whether they can indeed get out ahead of Finn Schneider, which would be ideal for them, although they're not going to because there is Finn Schneider down the straight who's once again made his tyres go a little bit longer. Elroy Wagner is through as well, although that is a beautifully clear bit of track the pair of them now have.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed, as long as Ruiz can get out in time.
Yeah, well that's Felix Bayer just coming down the straight. I think it's going to be pretty close down to someone. It is actually Bayer who has got ahead, so Ruiz has got some work to do, although Felix Bayer on those super soft tyres, I'd hasten to add, will probably dive into the pits at the end of this next lap.
Yeah, so Klaas definitely has the better end of the deal there. He needs to be getting his foot down and catching Wagner as quickly as possible.
Yeah, as that's Jochen van Schnellheid. No, it's not. It's
Ruiz.
Silly me. Who'd have thought that?
It's never Jochen van Schnellheid.
Yeah, so that was Ruiz then, sorry. Not even bothering to wait for Bayer to pit, and just, in fact, driving past him in the form of an overtake, that's the word.
Yeah. So we've got 11 laps until the soft runners come in, so this is make or break time.
Yeah, this is where both Klaas and Ruiz have to get their foots down. Is it just me, or as we jump on board with Al Arkanga, does he look a little bit closer to Nathaniel Powers than he has been previously?
Definitely does. It's been quite a quiet race for the DS, but they have actually been solidly keeping up with the front ones.
Yeah, I mean you can never count DS Mattershore. They are the reigning constructors. Oh, as we've got an accident there, and that is Aaron Einarsson, who was his engine is on fire and he's lost a wheel and one of the funds as well. I think that's possibly Carson Davenport.
What even happened there?
I don't know. I think we'll have to get a replay of that. Yeah, that's a lot of damage there to both cars.
Luckily, get right out of the way of the front runners as well.
Yeah, and it is Davenport then, so Einarsson and Davenport both out of the race. Let's have a look then. We've got on board with Einarsson for the replay.
It looked like the back wheels just clipped each other and just
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. As on board with Davenport, as Einarson, yeah,
Oh,
quite right. The wheels in poor old Alexei Nowasinski gets a face full of flames from Aaron Einarsson's exploded engine. But yeah, the two rear wheels there, that's a very strange incident of the two rear wheels of Einarson and Davenport as Klaas van Snelheid sets the fastest. Sorry.
Schneider's just been overtaken by Klaas. Oh, he's into the pits. Okay. It's like he just suddenly dropped, but yeah, okay.
Yes, a very, very strange incident there.
Yeah, I mean that's literally as close as you can get, and then before something dreadful happens.
Yeah, and well, in fact, something dreadful did happen. Both drivers then out of this V-Prix in strange circumstances. I've never seen cars react like that before, with a glancing blow of the rear wheels. Normally, you'd lose the markings on the tyres, and that would be about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the flames out of the back of the engine. I mean, did it cause the engine to blow up, or was that going to happen anyway?
Yeah. I mean, was that as a result of the incident? Maybe it
Maybe that was the cause.
Punched, maybe you know the collision and the damage caused punched something into the engine. Although even if that, I'd be very surprised if that caused it to pretty much explode as we saw there. Yeah, strange one that one. But either way, unfortunately, both drivers are out of this V-Prix, and I think Aaron Einarson and Holmqvist are going to be pretty disappointed with that, because you've got to say he was running pretty strongly.
Yeah, it's given Thunder another run at the points, but she's a little bit further off than Einarson was at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Thunder on the soft tyres, so with the rest of them, we'll have to see how that one pans out, as Klaas van Snelheid is now right up on the back of Elroy Wagner. They didn't get a chance, they didn't get a run at the soft-tyred runners last time round before the pit stop, but I think the pair of them, Klaas and Ruiz, might now, and he's going to have to make short work of Elroy Wagner if he wants to keep that advantage that he's built up over Ruiz, as I believe that is Arden Hutchinson challenging Finn Schneider. Schneider on the fresh suit. You reckon?
It wouldn't make sense otherwise, would it?
Well, no, that's true. As that is on board with Al Arkanga then, and he is absolutely much closer to Nathaniel Powers.
Yeah, so maybe you were wrong about Powers being being so far ahead of everyone that he can run a harder compound.
Yeah, and you can't blame that on traffic, because there is literally no one around. It's that is just some brilliant pace then from the Estonian.
Yeah, and he's leaving Simon behind as well. Simon's not exactly keeping up with the two.
No, he's not, is he? I wonder if we're going to get a battle there then, between the pair of them, and I wonder what that is going to mean for Carson Rees, because if these two start scrapping and costing one another time, that is going to do the two super soft runners of the world of good.
As long as they can both dispose of Wagner pretty quickly.
Yes, absolutely, as Klaas is still stuck behind him a minute. It's been a lap now, as we have a brief yellow flags in Sector 3 and Sector 1. But in fact, Klaas has dropped off the back of Wagner now. I mean, I'd imagine that's probably been held up slightly in the back markers.
Ruiz isn't exactly catching him at fast rate knots either.
No, he's not. And what have you got between them? You've got two Ocelots and an Ingram. Well, if they don't move out of the way for Ruiz, then God knows who will.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. But the track is now 2 degrees hotter than it was at the start, so maybe the warmer conditions do favour the DS Malashore a little bit.
Yeah, and in turn, obviously, the softer tyres as well. We're probably getting more towards that peak where where the super softs or the temperatures are starting to get slightly too warm for the super softs, but the softs are just, well, are coming more so into their window.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in Australia that the warmer temperatures definitely helped the DS Malashore cars. So, be interesting.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Have we got a run on Powers here? Does look like he's closing up.
No. Thank God.
He's getting closer.
He is, yeah. I'm worrying about that one. But Cars van Snelheid then is right back onto the rear wing of. Oh my God. That was the heart in the mouth moment. But Cars van Snelheid right onto the back of Wagner, and he dives down inside at turn 1 from a long way back. But he's got the move done. He's obviously got a lot more traction on those fresh super softs compared to the warm softs on Wagner's car. But he very, very nearly creamed into the back of one of the Ingrams down the start-finish.
Brave stuff from the young class there.
Oh God! Don't do that to me, kid. As that's is that Kinnaman past Hutchinson then as well? So both Westwoods now then past the first, who has just fallen outside of the points at the moment.
Yeah, considering his start position, not exactly where he's going to be, but at least he's dropped. You know, he's dropped Bacon a little bit. They've been separated now.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, obviously it will be disappointing to be much further down than where he qualified, but I think, you know, we'd all say, and I think even first would probably admit that 6th place is beyond the pace of that car at the moment.
Yeah, without retirements at least.
Yeah. Just note then, the current top 10 then is pretty much for the 4 teams that we'd expect, isn't it? We've got the 2 Franklins, the 2 Downtons, the 2 Macashores, and then, as we mentioned earlier, the sort of the mix of the top midfield battle: Westwood, Lopez, and AMR.
Yeah, Lopez obviously leading that battle, but James Harding not part of it.
No, well, Harding blew his race earlier on, didn't he? And he's been totally blown away by Wagner in literally every session so far this season, I think.
Yeah. I know how that feels.
As that is Finn Schneider then on the back of Jochen. Oh, look at that! It's Jochen van Snelheid again, about to lose another position.
Can he not embarrass me just for one lap?
Well, there we go. The cameras have cut away. We're going back to one of my cars under pressure. Is that better for you?
That's much better. Thank you.
But Nathaniel Powers then still at the moment holding off Alok Kanga. However, I do believe, I thought as much. That is, as Adrian Simon rounds turn 1, Lars van Snelheid already down the start-finish straight. So he's certainly closing in. However, there are only 24 laps left, and if we're anticipating that currently the top 6 have to make one more stop, that's not looking particularly good for the super soft runners at this stage.
No, it's yeah, they're going to need a little bit of luck and a lot of pace.
Yeah, they certainly are, as Finn Schneider gets very close to the back of Jochen van Snelheid as they fight over 8th position. But just thinks better of making a move at this moment in time.
Yeah, should be 2 or 3 laps before the soft runners come in. So, where are they going to feed out? It's going to be key to the decision of this race.
Yeah, because it was lap 23.
23. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't really seem to have the pace to be able to make a move going into turn 1, does he?
Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, just Kanga on Powers. He didn't really have the speed on the street to be able to close up enough to be able to make a move in turn 1.
No. Well, obviously let's not forget the engines in Oh, excuse me. In those cars are identical.
Are they?
Both. Absolutely. Trust me,
But-
if they weren't, Robert would have had my private bits by now. So you're never really going to see much difference between the two cars on a straight. As Joachim, he may have made himself look a little bit foolish so far today, but he's defending pretty well from Finn Schneider at the moment, who has proved himself no fool at overtaking.
Well, clearly he's had enough practice at trying to defend this race.
Yeah,
Maybe
and he's suddenly worked out how to do it.
If you move into the way of the of the following driver, then it makes it more difficult for him.
So that's how you do it. You don't just pull aside. He knows where he's been going wrong. It's taken him long enough.
Yeah, and that pedal on the ground, it makes you go faster.
Does it? Oh. I think he needs some lessons here.
I think he does.
Right pedal is go, left pedal stop. Don't use left pedal.
Are that some cars in the pits there?
Yeah, actually, I think it may have been. I wonder if it's just a couple of soft runners coming in early, although that's going to be cutting it fine if they are.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
As Timo Kinnaman then dives down the inside of Finn Schneider. There's two Ocelots in the pits at the moment.
So that's that, okay.
Yeah.
So it's the hard runners finally coming in.
Yeah, so, I mean, well, that's been pointless, hasn't it? They're last and second to last. Having both now made their one and only pit stop. And, Giordano, I know they're all cutting that line, but James Harding obviously pits, who's out of sync. They're all cutting that pit line, but that was rather close from Giordano.
Yeah, just a tad.
As Harding on the super softs, that means he's going to have to make a fourth stop, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That was Elroy Wagner, I believe, diving into the pit lane. So Wagner then is the first of the soft-tired runners. They all pitted, well, the ones at the front all pitted on the same lap last time round, but Wagner is coming in a lap early.
Yeah, maybe trying to get the undercut. Not that it's really going to help, he was quite a way off.
I was going to say, I don't know what kind of undercut he'd be trying to achieve there, because he was around 10 to 15 seconds behind the rest of them.
Yeah, not really helped, has it?
He'd have to hope...
He's tried something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose you've got to hand that to Lopez. They're trying something. I don't see that something doing anything, but they're trying something.
Right, so it seemed like he came out just in front of Joachim van Snelheid, so it doesn't look like the soft runners are going to have much trouble in terms of traffic when they come back.
Wagner, he's 11th. He's 2 places behind Joachim van Snelheid.
I wasn't paying attention.
He's just ahead of Kiara Thunder. And we do now have then... That's a collision in the pit lane! And that is Alok Kanga into the back of Nathaniel Powers. What the hell was he playing at?
And that's given Simon effectively the lead.
Yeah, that is... So Alok Kanga then, as they're coming into the pits, the two of them very, very close. Powers turned into his pit box, and Alok Kanga, I think very similar to what we saw with the two Franklins. Was it back in Spain, 2014?
I cannot remember.
Where I think it was Hoskins rear-ended Ruiz in the pit lane and took his teammate actually out of the race. We haven't quite had that here, but Kanga with running into the back of Powers has caused both of them a delay here. Kanga has had to have a new front wing, and Adrian Simon has jumped the pair of them.
Yeah, Powers are very, very lucky not to sustain any rear wing damage there.
Yeah, here we go then, a replay on board with Kanga. As Powers was pulling into his box, he just didn't even consider slowing down, did he?
No, I mean, there's wanting to win and then there's wanting to finish the race. I think he just too much on the side of pushing a little bit there.
Yeah, trying to sort of eke out every nanosecond, but wow, that was silly from the Estonian. I think that's the first real mistake we've seen from the rookie this season.
Yeah, I mean, given the benefit of the doubt, he is a rookie, but that's the kind of mistakes that you can't be making.
Absolutely not, especially when you're in a car as good as he's in. But we go on board with Powers. Simon may have got the jump in the pits, but Nathaniel Powers is not going to take this line down. Clearly, he didn't really sustain any damage in that contact with Kanga because he's flown up and past Adrian Simon and back into what will be third place and the de facto lead of this race when Klaas-Van Snelhout and Enrique Ruiz make their final stops.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know just how far they are ahead, because where are they going to come back out when they pit?
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing now, isn't it? I mean, frankly, I can see that those three, even Kanga included, despite that long pit stop, probably being ahead at this rate. The super softs on both Klaas and Ruiz, they just haven't made them work as they did in the first stint, and I don't think they've been quick enough.
No, it's usually we'd expect the super softs to have quite a large pace advantage over the softs, but it just hasn't really come into play this race.
No, and that
we do have some traffic here.
Yeah, and that's Powers gone to the inside of one of the funds. And he's being pushed. No. The fun is in the pits. No, he's not. Oh, and that's the pair of them. And that is caused Nathaniel Powers delay, and Adrian Simon will be back through then. But Jesus, quite how he didn't end up in the pit wall there, I have no idea.
Clearly, Powers just had enough aggression there to not be pushed aside.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the fun of Olin Inman, because obviously Davenport is out. I'm not quite sure what he was playing at. If you've got a car on the inside, you don't just continue pulling across.
It's difficult to know who was at fault. I mean, both Powers really at that point should have probably just backed out of it. But at the same time,
Powers is fighting for a win.
It's mostly Olin Inman's fault, absolutely. But yeah, it's.
I think the only thing I would say is coming out of that final corner, the drivers know that the pit lane is on the right hand side, and there is that risk. A lot of them do pull across quite late to dive into the pits, and if you were going to overtake anyone, you'd probably err on the side of caution and head to the outside unless you were past that pit entrance. But as Olin Inman just driving down the pit wall and finally decides to pull away.
Oh, without a front wing. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's no surprise, is it? And Powers has just slipped behind Alar Kanga into 5th place, and he's back into the pits.
So clearly suffered some damage in that little scrap. So this is probably gonna mean he can't get a podium now.
For the second race running, then. I'm gonna watch. Poor luck for Nathaniel Powers has just taken him out of the running for what could have been on course for a potential victory. He was in the position of the de facto leader of this race, but tangle with Olin Inman, one of the backmarkers, the man currently running in last position after that contact.
So at the moment, it looks like we're looking on for either a Klaas or a Simon victory, as the temperature has dropped again.
Yeah, which is going to go back in the favour of the super soft runners. But as I say, I don't think they've got enough of a lead. I think DS Mathershaw could well be looking at a 1-2 here.
It's looking that way, isn't it? It really is.
As Olin Inman finally makes it into the pits then for a new front wing, a lap after he intended. Silly man. He was much better when he was racing at the front last year.
Clearly a lot of frustration in that helmet today. From a few different drivers, I imagine.
Not all in that one helmet, that's quite impressive. as here we go then, on board with Powers. And do you know, I'm going to be fair to Olin Inman. Oh, Jesus, he was lucky there, wasn't he, not to be pushed into the pit wall?
Yeah.
I'm going to be fair to Olin Inman. You could see him starting to pull across already.
Yeah.
Powers should have backed out of that and gone the other side. But at the same time, you know, there are blue flags around. Olin should have backed out. And, as Klaas van Snelheid then pits from the lead then at the end of lap 50. So, where are they indeed going to come back out? Adrian Simon is just heading down the start-finish straight now. He's got 2 meteors between him and his teammate. I think Simon is by far going to go through. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kanga got past as well.
Yeah, it looks like they've got this in the bag.
Yeah, and Kanga is indeed through into second. Klaas isn't too far behind though. Potentially a second place on the cards.
Yeah, but then again, has the Supersoft really been enough to...
It's been quicker, and he's only probably 2 seconds behind.
If that's the gap, then I think Klaas has got it. But for the win, I don't know. There's still 15 laps. There's still enough time.
There are. He's going to have to put the hammer down. I think this is more going to go towards Adrian Simon here for the second race in a row, the world champion, who is up to now, touch wood, having a rather fantastic start to his title defence.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like he's been putting in
stellar
fantastic
performances.
No. It's more been a bit of an invisible, just putting in good performances and then sort of capitalising on other people's mistakes.
Yeah, he's been there, hasn't he? And he's picked up the pieces.
Absolutely.
As Klaas van Snelheid then goes to put a lap on the first meter of Johan Halsen, while ahead of him Alar Kanga, who is really quite close now. In fact, give him one corner, Klaas is pretty much on the back of him. I'd hope that would be one position gained there at least, although Klaas is currently mired in a meteor sandwich. And he's up on 2 wheels! Klaas van Snelheid just about holds onto it. Jesus Christ!
They can't give you any sort of respite, can they?
Why can't my drivers just have one race where they just drive around at the front with no potential dramas? There's no such thing as an easy race at the front, is there?
No. This is what people don't understand.
Do you know, I finally understood your frustrations of the last few seasons. I get it now.
Yeah.
I get this anguish.
Yeah. People think it's all sunshine and roses. It's not.
Jesus. But yeah, so I mean, just going back to that incident, I do think you could see Inman pulling across. I do think Powers should have seen that and gone the other side. But then, as I was going to say, having said that, Inman is a backmarker and would have seen blue flags and should have moved out of the way. Let's not beat around the bush. That Downton is quite a noticeable car. It's not something you're going to miss in your mirrors.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he'd have seen that car there, and he should have backed out of it, being a backmarker. But
he had nothing to lose by letting Powers past.
No, he was pretty much last anyway.
Yeah.
But hey ho, as Finn Schneider makes his third pit stop, and he's gonna exit behind his teammate Timo Kinnaman, and he lost that position in the previous stint, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think, but even so, it's a bit disappointing for Finn Schneider, I'd imagine, because he's put in a solid performance today.
Yeah, but I think he'll have the tyres to at least try and get past.
Yeah, as the 2 Ocelots, we haven't seen much of them this race, and that's probably because they're pretty much running last on a very strange hard tyre strategy. But I'm guessing, they started pretty much together, they pitted together, and they're still together now. So that's 2 drivers I'd say are very evenly matched.
Absolutely. Can we have some rain or something?
It's just
Twice
a
at the end
random
of the
rain
race.
shower.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to help. All the drivers have made their pit stops now. It's not like Ruiz has anything to gain from that.
He might. He's pretty damn good.
As the two meteors then battling over, where are they? Battling over 17. Oh, they've both made their last pit stops now. So I think, well, that just goes to prove then that the mediums have been no different a choice really to the softs.
But then,
Although when did Harrison pit actually?
I don't know. Yeah.
I can't remember if it was
I don't think
after the
we-
midway mark or not. That's
think
class going slow because there is a car on the inside and well, the Ocelots aren't together anymore because one of them is at the side of the road smoking.
That's just not healthy.
It certainly isn't, especially for those drivers around him.
Yeah, that's just rude.
Which one was it? I think that was Beckenbauer, wasn't it?
Considering he's behind Giordano, I'd make a guess at that. Yeah.
So I would say poor Carl Beckenbauer. He was having such a good race, but I was always told not to lie. So
Him and Giordano were having the race of their lives. They're just not in a great car.
yeah, it's just a shame that the race of their life was over 21st place. Hey ho. As we jump back on board then with Jochen van Snelheid, who we've left alone for a few laps, but he hasn't really managed to do anything. In fact, he's behind Arden Hutchinson, with both of them having made their final stops.
I don't understand it. They're on the same tyre. Come on, man. What are you doing?
And he's got Kiara Thunder behind him as well.
I'm not saying the first is a bad car, but it's not better than a Franklin.
No, it's not, is it? And honestly, I wouldn't even say that Hutchinson was a better driver. I'm wondering if maybe Jochen has some damage as we cut to Klaas van Snelheid then down the start-finish straight, who's all over the back of Al Arkanga. He's up the inside and he's alongside before they even get to turn one. He throws the car down the inside line. He's got better traction, and Klaas van Snelheid is up into second place then with 10 laps to go, past Al Arkanga. Oh, I don't know how far ahead Simon is because the timing screens aren't working.
I think he'll be too far ahead given what happened in the pits. Personally.
Yeah, I think what?
Oh,
That gap's not as big as I expected.
He has a shot.
We'll have to keep an eye on that one. as Jochen van Snelheid, yeah. Surely he has to have some kind of damage to that car.
Yeah, it's called his driving ability.
But we've seen this before, where, I mean, even you have to admit, Jochen is not as bad as this race has made him look. He really isn't.
I do not have the sufficient evidence to disprove that.
Okay, well, I'm telling you from an outside perspective, Jochen van Snelheid is not as bad as this race has made him look, and we've seen it before where either some damage to a chassis or something has caused a poor race, and I'd imagine that's all this is for Jochen. I think he needs just give him a new car for the next round, and we'll see what happens.
I can't promise that.
Are you sure? Not even a different car? Like an Ingram or something?
Well, that's true. He better have a damn good explanation for this race then.
What have we got going on at the moment then? We've got Klaas up into second place, and potentially closing on Simon, but I think frankly still the gap is quite sufficient for Simon to be able to hold on. We've got Jochen van Snelheid battling on the fringes of the points with a first and a Holmquist. I'm trying not to laugh.
Just sitting here shaking my head.
As is that Felix Bayer? It is. So that's Bayer behind Douglas Bacon. How has that happened?
Yeah, something's not quite right there.
No, I mean Bayer on the super soft tyres. As that's Adrian Simon being held up by one of the Ocelots, who was his only remaining Ocelot, Giordano, who cuts him off. And I do believe that was Klaas van Snelheid pretty much right behind them.
I think with 8 laps to go, he has a damn good shot at this race now.
Klaas van Snelheid has trimmed that gap considerably. I'm sure Simon probably it didn't help that Simon was being held up there by one of the backmarkers. If Klaas can fly past Giordano, yeah, as you say, with 8 laps left, surely he's got a good chance at this. He's in a car that is arguably quicker and on faster tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got this one in the bag.
You said that about Simon not 3 laps ago.
Yeah, but I didn't see the gap. This gap is nothing.
It's not, is it? It's pretty much what the gap was between Kanga and Klaas when the Dutchman exited the pits.
Yeah, if not less.
Oh, Jochen van Snelheid has passed Hutchinson.
Are you sure it wasn't Ruiz lapping someone?
Or could have been. No, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's wait for the timing screens to roll around. At least the positions are correct on that, even if the gaps aren't.
Yeah, this is true. It's like fancy. To be honest, I'm not thoroughly impressed with Ruiz being this far behind the top 3.
Well, I'm sure he's not 35 seconds back.
I know, but still, you can't really see him in shot.
No, that's true. Yes, it was Jochen past Hutchinson. There you go, he's in the points.
Yay, singular point.
See now, if he'd have started like 24th, that would be quite impressive.
That'd be okay. Would mind. But he started 3rd.
Yeah, not letting that one go, are we?
Never.
Yeah, so Felix Bayer, I mean, he's past Bacon now, but he's 13th. As Kiara Thunder is into the pits, and that's unusual because she was on the soft tyres. But Klaas van Snelheid, sorry, we are on the pit straight, and he is in the slipstream of Adrian Simon. We don't want to see Kiara Thunder in the pits. Klaas van Snelheid down the inside of the reigning world champion, and he's through, surely. He's got the purchase, he's got the traction on the exit, and Klaas van Snelheid is into the lead of the Japanese V-Prix with 7 laps to go here at Fuji.
Yeah, brilliantly placed move. Clearly the better car. Yeah, good on him. Yeah.
Oh, that is cracking. Could we then...
Are we going to see 3 different teams winning in the first 3 races?
That was literally exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
We've had Franklin winning in Australia, DS Mathishaw winning last time out in Malaysia, and it's been said that this could possibly be the closest title fight we've ever had in Formula Virtual. We've never before had 3 teams competing right at the front, and are we about to get all 3 having won a race in the opening 3 rounds of the season? Klaas has just 6 and a bit laps now to hold on, as does that bloody engine.
It would be great if Ruiz could come second, just because then it would have been Franklin DS.
Yeah, well, where is Ruiz? I mean,
DS Frank. No, this doesn't really work. It doesn't really matter either way. Ignore me. Next race, it would have to be Downton and then Franklin, and then there's so many different permutations. Just ignore me.
I'm not quite sure what you're on about, to be honest.
I was just gonna say, I thought each of us would have come first and second in a different order.
No, we haven't even had a podium yet.
Yeah.
4th and 5th in Australia, and a double retirement last time around.
So it's just us and DS that have sort of come first and second.
Yes.
Between each other.
Yes. Yes.
Ah.
But obviously Class now leading this one then with just 5 and a bit laps to go. Adrian Simon second is Kanga catching his teammate. He has been, I think we've got to admit, he's been the quicker driver today. As Harding pits from 14th. Yeah, that's not important.
Why is Jochen back in 11th?
Oh yeah, he's just fallen back behind Arden Hutchinson. No. Oh, Jochen. And he's got Felix Bayer somewhere behind him, and Bayer is on the super soft tyres. So I'd wager if Bayer gets any sort of close, he'll probably be able to overtake.
This is the last time we'll see.
As why is Rui sixth?
Oh, for crying out loud! Oh.
Enrique Ruiz then, who was running 4th in this race, is suddenly 6th, and he's 7th behind Timo Kinnaman. Surely Ruiz isn't out? We've got no yellow flag.
He's clearly out.
No, he's pitted. He's pitted. He's made a 3rd stop.
He would.
And there he is then, Enrique Ruiz exiting the pit lane as he slips behind Will Hoskins. So Ruiz out in 9th for some reason has made a 4th stop. Sorry. What is going on there?
There's clearly been some sort of collision somewhere.
Surely, yeah, because I mean the tyres would have lasted. And here we see, well, this is Kiara Thunder coming into the pits. No, I think that's just a Holmquist engine failure, to be honest, because that sounds rather quiet. And in fact, yeah, she is 22nd. So I'd wager that is a retirement.
Yeah. Bad day for Holmquist.
Yeah, both cars out when, let's be fair, Einarson looked as though he had a fairly solid chance of points, as Nathaniel Powers looks as though he's up to 4th, past Wagner. In fact, the two of them are wheel to wheel, and yeah, Powers does have the purchase around the outside, and he is up into 4th place then.
Yeah, good on him after.
Yeah, that's a fairly solid recovery.
Yeah.
Between obviously the 4 of them, obviously Wagner's, slightly says Ruiz already back up to into 8th, then past Will Hoskins. Wagner obviously slightly slower than the 2 DS and Downton cars, or DS Master and Downton cars. But for Powers to have made an extra stop and be ahead of Wagner, that's a solid recovery.
Yeah.
What will be interesting now is to see how high Ruiz can get.
I don't imagine he'll be able to get much further up with only sort of 2 or 3 laps to go. I think he's still fair.
Here we go. Oh, there's debris on track. Oh, and just clattered into the side of Giordano. I think that was really unfortunate. To lose his front wing there.
At least he didn't blow up his engine at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. We have seen that this race.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Although, you may be about to gain 2 positions. We've got the 2 Westwards going side by side. Schneider, we said earlier, he's been the better driver in this race, and it's disappointing to see him behind, but he isn't for any longer. Finn Schneider up into 6th, past Timo Kinnaman, and once again putting the manners on his more experienced teammate.
Yeah, that's the kind of driving that Harry will be pretty impressed with, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks as though he's got 2 drivers there who are absolutely more than capable of taking the fight to not only one another, but to other teams and pushing them up the field, surely, because, I mean, that Westwood is it doesn't look a bad car this season, and with 2 drivers who are going to attack like that.
Yeah, that's when you're in a midfield scrap like that, you need 2 drivers that can really push the envelope of the car, and that's what he's got.
As we jump on board then with Jochen van Snelheid briefly, trying to get back past Arden Hutchinson. Oof. as we're on to the penultimate lap.
How quickly has that gone?
Yeah. And Classman Snellhide has a lap and a half to hold on. Oh god. If we take 2013 out of the equation, as obviously the first year of the championship, would this be the soonest victory for a rookie driver?
Don't know. Possibly. I don't know. What about Inman? Did he? I don't know when he scored.
Inman got a lot of pole positions early on, but I don't think he was able to pick up a win until around about Canada last year. It took him a few races. I'll have to have a look into the statistic book after this. That's of course providing that Class could make it round this final lap.
Yeah, don't jinx yourself.
By Christ, I hope so. Well, I haven't said at any point, look how many runners we've still got in this race. And I am aware that's a dangerous thing to say with just a handful of corners to go, as Class is side by side with a back marker. But yeah, look at this, Kanga right up with the back of with Adrian Simon again. So he may have
definitely shown some great performances.
Yeah, he may have lost out in the pit stop with a silly error, but he's definitely been the quicker of the two DS Marshall drivers today.
Oh, without a doubt.
But up front, it's gonna be surely Klaas van Snelheid as he rounds the final corner. All he has to do is get to the line. Come on, you've just got meters to go now for Klaas van Snelheid in the third race of his career, and he's surely going to do it. Klaas van Snelheid crosses the line to win the Japanese V-Prix for Downton. It's 3 different manufacturers winning the first 3 races of the season. Adrian Simon just holds off his teammate for second place as Alar Kanga comes home in third. Nathaniel Powers is going to be fourth after a pretty strong recovery drive there from the Brit. Elroy Wagner is going to cross the line in 5th place. He's had a rather lonely race, but solid points there for Lopez, their best finish of the season so far. Finn Schneider 6th. He like Kanga, was clearly the quicker driver in his team today, but unlike Kanga, he managed to come out on top. Finn Schneider crosses the line in 6th. Kinnaman 7th. Enrique Ruiz will be heavily disappointed with 8th place after that late pit stop for contact with Puccio Giordano. Will Hoskins 9th, but he hasn't actually crossed the line yet, so he's not 9th. Now he has. And Arden Hutchinson, can he hold off Jochen van Snelheid for the final point? He can, but only just. But it is Hutchinson then, so another point for first. But Klaas van Snelheid, yes!
Congratulations.
And we do have then 3 teams winning the first 3 races of 2017. We have a titanic battle for the championship now, as Klaas van Snelheid, the winner of the 2017 Japanese V-Prix. So it's a maiden victory in just his 3rd race for Klaas van Snelheid. Joining him on the podium, Adrian Simon, who keeps up his solid start to the season, and Alar Kanga with his 2nd podium in 3 races. Nathaniel Powers recovered well to 4th after the 2 incidents he was involved in, while Enrique Ruiz must be disappointed with 8th. There we see the retirements. Both Holmqvist will be disappointed with that. In the Drivers' Championship though, Adrian Simon's flying start to his title defence has meant he now has over a win in hand over anyone else after just 3 races. Klaas van Snelheid is up to 2nd with that victory. Towards the bottom of the championship, not much movement as none of them have scored points in this race. In the constructors though, DS Mattershall still lead, Downton up to 2nd past Franklin, Westwood hanging on to their coattails as well, and then Lopez and AMR, Holmqvist have fallen back first to move past North Star. But that's all from our race here today in Fuji. So from both me and Jamie, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for round 4 from Shanghai, China.